Good morning, you lovely, lovely people. And this is like an update about the land. And when my wife's grandmother, and she's going to explain to you because, like, I think I get it, but I'll let her explain. When my wife's grandmother had the land, there was a lot of jealous people. And hold on, I'll sit here. And there was a lot of jealous people. So, and what happened about casting the spells? Oh, sorry. Oh.
In here, in the Philippines, we have a lot of jealous in here. Kay all the relatives are jealous of my lola because my lola is a big, big land in Liloy or anywhere like that. Then the cousin or a lot of the relatives we go to in Sikihor like that. We have, I don't know if you can believe that one. We get what's that beside in Dr. Wak 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 beside in the Sikihor.
And then your grandmother got sick and died.
Yeah, we sick.
So basically, guys, what happened was the land that Mira's grandmother had, and as I said, you was the only one who stayed with your grandmother.
Yeah.
So my wife took care of her grandmother, like I said in the previous video. So that's why everything was left to my wife, because no one, they were all against her grandmother because they were jealous of the land. Now, what's happening is, because she got the land, and with the talk that happened the other day when we was down there, it's just got worse. Now they are wanting more than what my wife was willing to give, right? It's just terrible. It's just, I can't believe it. And they've now threatened, because my wife is pregnant as well, see? So they've now threatened casting spells. Now my wife is very, very superstitious on this. So she's been terrible. My wife's been crying and all this. And basically what they're saying is they want half the land, right? And if my wife doesn't do it, then they're going to cast a spell. This is what they're saying. I don't know the proper terminology for it, but they're going to cast a spell so she will lose the baby and this, that and the other. Now, this is the shit that when people think Filipino families are very close and they help each other out, they do to a certain degree, but when it comes to things like this, it's just a massive jealousy and a massive hate. A massive hate. Now, when my grandmother had the land, which my wife was explaining then, and the family wanted the land, and Mira's grandmother gave them some in a different part. It wasn't in Liloy because she had land elsewhere, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, so they ganged up against, and this is Mira's grandmother's brothers. The brothers, they all ganged up against her. And in the end, she was so stressed out. This is what killed her, apparently, was the stress of this land. And I mean, my wife is sat there. She's very worried about all this. But when people say Filipino families are close, Mira, it's not the case, is it? When it comes to land and money, there is no such thing as a close Filipino family. And I mean, I was under the impression that all Filipino families are close, but they're not when it comes to money and land.
No.
So what happened to your grandmother then? She died because of the.
She died because of the land, because the cousin is not we stop if my grandmother is not we sick or really sick like that, because we have one relatives we go to in the city or we like that in Doctor Wak Wak. I don't know what's that.
Well, basically what she's saying is, because her grandmother didn't give the land to relatives, some of the relatives went to Sikio to get a whack whack doctor, whatever they call, is it, to cast a spell on her grandmother. And she got sick straight away after that.
Yeah, she's really sick.
She got sick.
Because all the what's that,
Sorry about this, people.
the kids of my grandmother, all the kids of the grandmother, we we go to in the sick home like that. We Dr. Wakwa.
Casting spells.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she died after that.
No, because the kids is we come out in her land. We come out the land of my grandmother. Kay if she's not, we come out all the family died.
Right.
That's
So
why all we
what happened, from what I can gather, is all the people that were living on her land, all the relatives, because they turned against her, she wanted them off the land. And when she did eventually get them off the land, I don't know how they did it, but she, she got them all off the land.
yeah.
They all went off the land, and then this is when everything bad happened. This is only a bit of the story that I know of, people, but this is just goes to show when there's money involved and land involved, there is no friends here with families. They just want more and more and more. And this is what's happening now. This is what's happening. My wife's phone last night didn't stop. And it's not just one relative. They all in it now, all of them. They've all come out of the woodwork. People who I didn't even know. People who I didn't even know. And this is the pitfalls of families having some of the land, because my wife, as I said, she took care of her grandmother. Her grandmother brought her up. I don't know why Mira's mum and dad didn't help. I don't know, but there is a story behind that as well. And they've got a bit of land in Shogun. I believe it's a place called Shogun. So they haven't interfered. But now, aunties, uncles, her sisters, they all come out of the woodwork, and now the shit's hit the fan. So my wife doesn't know what to do, and I can't make a decision for her. I said, look, whatever you feel comfortable doing, this is what you have to do. But she's scared now because her family, her so-called family, have wished her bad. And they said they're going to go somewhere and see a whack doctor and cast a spell on her if she doesn't give the land and divide the land up between everybody. This is terrible, people, isn't it? This is terrible. I said to Mira, I said, I wish this land was never given in the first place. Because if it wasn't, this is why my wife, and this is why I would say to all of you people, if you have a family like this, move as far away as you can from that family. Move as far away as you can. Because if you don't, this is what you're going to get. When it comes to anything, but especially land. Especially land. My wife was saying as well, which I kind of heard about, is that families kill family here over land. Families kill family over land here. Now, I've heard of this, and I've heard of land disputes over different clans, but my wife she's frightened now. So what was going to be, should have been a happy time, is now turned into not such a happy time. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't, people. Mira just said she just wants to wash her hands with it, I think, because she's pregnant as well. And she doesn't need all this. And she's said to me, what do I think? I said, Mira, I said, this is your decision. I said, me getting involved with your family, I said, if it's going to threaten me in some way or shape or form. And well, not threaten me, but I mean threaten this family even more. Because I know some of her family. I've seen some of her family. And they are, same as Mira, she's a heavily believer in this superstition. Now, when I first come to the Philippines, because I'm British, as you know, I don't believe in all this sort of stuff. But since being here, I don't know. Because people do get sick when these people do cast these spells on them and that. So I really don't know. I really don't know. But this is terrible, people, isn't it, eh? It just goes to show you, there is no there is no loyalty here when it comes to this kind of thing, this dispute. And my wife was very kind, I thought, by saying, well, you know, you can have 1 hectare, you know, between yous. And what happened that day when we was down there, when we left, it was all right. But they've been talking amongst themselves, and they've been talking to the uncles and aunties, like their mum and dads. And it's not enough. So this is what's happened now. So this is the result so far. This is the state of affairs as of now. And they've actually threatened my wife with superstition and spells. And they saying, you know, because she's married to me, that she should give the land, all of the land, to them. Because they said, you're with a foreigner, you don't need the land. Well, that's not the point. It's not the point. The point is, the grandmother left it to her, Mira. So, now, as my wife said to me last night, her grandmother would be crawling, turning in a grave with all this. And this was the reason why her grandmother didn't leave nothing to them, because she knew what they were. And I can totally understand that now, because I was thinking, why didn't she leave it to anybody else, like divide the land up? It's just a bit odd. Now I know why. Now I know why. And Mira's grandmother was a really old-fashioned mountain lady, where she never went into a city. She never went into a city in her life. She just stayed there on that land. And when she was alive, she used to live off the land. Never went into a city. The water that they got, you know, my wife told me the story. She used to go down every morning to the river, because there's a lovely river at the bottom. And she would go there, and there was this what they called magic water or something, and it come off the mountain, and they thought it was miracle water. They thought by drinking that it would make you, you know, strong and healthy. But my wife said she used to go down there every morning, and she would get the water, and she would, you know, when she was, you know, still in school, she'd be making brums like Mira, brums, and she'd be doing the copra at a very early age. And you know, they had a couple of carabaos, and she'd go into the woods, to the forest, which was outside of the land, and she'd get all of the wood, the firewood. I would sit for hours, like you know, like listening to Mira telling me these stories. I thought, wow. And that's why my wife now, she, you know, rather than go and buy a brum, and they're only like 25 pesos, you know, she'll make one. Not because, you know, we can't buy one, but because that's what she did, and she loves doing that sort of stuff. And the stuff that my wife doesn't know about the land is not worth knowing, about growing things and what will grow where and things like that. So she's very educational on land. Not buying land or selling land, but I mean, what, growing in the land. But people, this is the state of affairs now. So it's not looking good. Me, what would I do? I'm half, you know, it's like saying, I just give them it. But then I'm thinking, no, because then they've won. Then they've won by threatening you. So it kind of makes you want to dig your heels in even more. But at the end of the day, people, I'm not here to make a decision. It's not my land, and I want to keep out of this family feud as much as I possibly can. And the end result, or the end decision, is down to my wife. But this is going to get worse. I know it is. I know it is. And say, my wife doesn't need all this sort of stuff. She's pregnant. And my wife wouldn't hurt a fly. Honestly, she wouldn't hurt a fly. There's not a bad bone in her body. But this is what happens. When it comes to money, like, I've learnt a lot about our Filipino families. And it's not just my wife's Filipino family, but families here around me. Because there's always family disputes here where I live about coconuts. About, you can't get the copra this time, it's our turn. And oh God, so now no one gets the copra. Because one of them has said, no one gets it because you're stealing the copra. Oh God, and it's their copra. It's because it's the sisters and the brothers. They scared in case 1 month they make there is more copra than that month. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. I thought Filipino families were very close, and it's not the case. It's not the case. especially out here in these provinces. It's like they all bitching at each other. Who's getting this and who's getting that, and you earned 5,000 pesos more than me with the copra last time, so we want more copra this time to make up for it. Dear God Almighty, dear God. And by the way, we found out that that caretaker that was on the land, on Mira's land, he cut down 7 narra trees. Now these are protected trees and they're worth a lot of money actually, but he wasn't happy with working the land, and my wife saying, you can have this, you know, you keep the land nice and you can have everything on there. He took it fucking literal, you know. He's even cut down narra trees, which is illegal in the Philippines. I think it's the Philippine tree. Narra trees are very hard wood. Done that, and some other trees he cut down and sold them. Just some people, you can't help them. They just want more and more and more. Mira's family's terrible like that. Absolutely. Like I said before, when I was giving money, and it was never enough. It was never enough. They always wanted more. And I just thought that was just one part of her family. It's not. It's all of them. It's all of them. All of them. No wonder their grandmother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the family. Now I understand why. Anyway, people, I just thought I'd give you like an update on it. And if there's anything more happening, I will give you more updates in the future about it. But my wife is past herself here. She's what a bunch of horrible people, eh? What a bunch of horrible. I'm pleased we're far away, because Liloy's 2.5, 3 hours drive away from where we are. But that doesn't stop them coming up here. That would not stop them if they thought there's a quid involved. Anyway, take good care, people. Thank you for dropping by, and thank you. Bye, Mira.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.